Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of Score to Score. I am here with my co-host Mattyice, and I am yours truly, Jaynote. And today we're going to be talking about that AB drama that's going on. If you haven't seen or you haven't heard, he obviously left the Steelers, ended up with the Raiders, but technically never. He hasn't played a game with the Raiders, and technically didn't practice much either. And now he's with the Patriots. So quite the quite the turn of events, if I do say it so myself. And I know Matt wanted to give his opinion. I got my own kind of opinion on it too. I guess we'll just go ahead and hop right in. So Matt, if you got your first thing that you wanted to talk about on this situation, you can feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. For everyone who don't really know too much about Antonio Brown or really kind of kept up on him because you're tired of the drama, we'll try to make this a sweet and good transition from wrapping it all up for you guys, so that way you're not left in the dark or anything. I know a lot of people are wondering maybe why he left the Steelers to begin with. I know a lot of people have their opinions. There's the fact it's the drama between him and Ben. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He just had that. Ben kind of came out on his personal podcast that he has with this from the Steelers organization, and he's tend to known to blast his own players from time to time. I mean, him and AB have had great chemistry, it seems, but whenever they don't, it seems Ben blames Antonio, and nothing is ever really his fault. That is also very opinionated on a million different minds. So I mean, I guess it is what it is, but ultimately, yeah, it kind of comes down to Ben. But
Ben
yeah,
being Ben.
yeah, Ben being Ben, big tears. I mean, he's up. He can't. It's a big ego. So yeah, I mean, hey, it is. I feel like it's that way with a lot of pro players. I mean, you're up in that league now. So I personally don't believe Antonio had any drama with the organization or any other players. I think his sole departure from the Steelers was because of Ben.
Same.
If you, yeah, if you think otherwise, or I mean, leave it in the comments. Let's talk. We'll respond to you guys. Go on. We'll be active with y'all. But yeah. So he leaves the Steelers and he becomes a free agent at this point. He's basically out there for the trade. He wasn't an actual free agent, but it's up for trade now. It wasn't too much with the money deal. The Steelers are known to give just only 1 year guaranteed on their contracts with all players, especially skill set players. That's the big thing with Le'Veon. We're not going to get into that though today. But
It's a topic for another video.
oh yeah, that's the topic for another day, people. But I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's caught up on that by now. But yeah. So AB wasn't really looking 100% for money. That's just what you do, especially because he's got his brand business is booming. So I mean,
Mr. Big
it seems that
Chest.
yeah, Oakland was obviously the front runner. So he goes to Oakland, gets the guaranteed 55 million, I believe, and
Yep.
so that's a solid deal. He goes there. He's going to start a new team, and I feel like other than getting that guaranteed money for Oakland, I feel like he went to Oakland because he feels like he could throw his weight around. He's the best receiver in the league. I mean, you going out onto the market to trade. So Steelers finally got it off the plate. They finally got everything off the plate. Drama's gone. Okay, fine. Oakland has it. Oakland's got him. Well, offseason was great, I guess you could say. I mean, he practiced. He did what he did. He was there. But the drama didn't really start till preseason. And
He
and
catfished them, man.
I think Jalen, what are your thoughts on the preseason debacles when they started?
The preseason stuff with the Raiders. As soon as he got
Yeah,
there,
with Antonio and the Raiders.
the hard knocks period of it. Yeah, man. I think he catfished them because I think he came in with this intent that he was gonna be the leader of the team, the biggest name of the team, and be able to kind of dictate what they do offense wise and just team wise. To be honest, and I thought he was, coming from the Steelers where they weren't throwing around a bunch of fines, and he kind of got away with a lot of stuff, a lot of leeway. He comes over here and he's being all nice, and you see that on Hard Knocks if you've seen the episode. If you haven't, go check it out. But it starts out really nice, really friendly, things like that, and it starts to get rolling. And obviously, you get down the road, and that what was it, the cryotherapy thing with the foot? That happened where he's hurt because of that, so he can't practice. And I have my own reasons that he did this that I'll get into a little bit later. And then you had what was the next thing up was the helmet shit, right? or
Right.
he can't figure out what helmet he wants, and they did offer to give him a custom one, which, like, come on, AB, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you
Well,
doing? It just seems like he did not want to be there from the jump.
yeah, go lead on with that. What do you mean he didn't want to be there from the jump?
So the way I looked at it, and I think I talked to you about this before. I don't think AB intended to play with the Raiders at all because he didn't want to go there. They weren't his choice. He turned when they did the bill. The Steelers were going to give him to the Bills, and he's like, nah, screw that. You're not giving me no Bills. Then the Raiders came along, and I think AB probably had a talk with his agent, and he knew, him and his agent both knew where they wanted to go. So I think they came up with this plan. We'll go ahead and we'll accept this deal that makes you the highest paid receiver in the league, right? You set the market for yourself. And then we'll do everything in our power, within your own power, to get you back as a free agent so you can sign, get them to release you so you can sign with anybody else. So then, AB knows the antics. He's had enough of a feel of the league to know what to tolerate, what they can't tolerate. And he knows that the Raiders are kind of the laughing stock of the NFL at the moment. So he goes in here.
Especially after last season. Khalil Mack,
Man.
Cooper, you got first round draft picks.
John Gruden, what are you doing, my man?
Yeah.
Bro.
Trying to lead it on to somewhere. I mean, they had a garbage season last year, but apparently it's an intentional tank to get these first rounders, get good. They got some draft picks. We'll see how Josh Jacobs plays out. I mean,
see what they go to. But I think the whole plan was that because this deal, everyone was expecting as soon as they got released by them for him to essentially basically get like a veteran's minimum type of contract. But he ends up getting a 1 year, $15 million contract with $9 million guaranteed. And so the way I see that is like the set the market thing. He went and set that market for his value with the Raiders, right, and get that big ass contract, and then he basically almost tarnishes his brand because it's almost like he tarnishes his brand so he can do a 1 year deal, right? He does the 1 year deal with the Patriots, so his stock goes up, his potential to get a ring goes up, so he could go up play with this really good phenomenal team. He playing with the GOAT Brady. And some really talented receivers and a really talented offense, and then obviously the coach Belichick. And I think you take that ring, you add it to your weight, and you get all this. You're not gonna get the stat. I don't think he'll get the stats he did at the Steelers because he's not essentially the only person there anymore. The favorite.
But he's the best. I mean, he's the best there. I mean,
he's definitely the best. But you're playing with. I don't think. I think Brady is smarter because Ben threw a lot. I think Ben throws a lot of things up to chance with his throws, and I don't think Brady does it as much. That's why I think his goes down a little bit.
Okay, well the thing with Big Ben, he's more of a slinger. He's come out a bunch of times. He's like,
oh, yeah.
I'm going to throw it more than I'm going to hand it off, so he doesn't care. He's like, we're going to sling it. He's like, even if I throw an interception, doesn't matter. I'm slinging to give my guys a chance. Like, it's our time. But I mean, like to touch back on the Oakland, I want to get back there.
Go back.
A lot of people that aren't really diving into like what's going on. The biggest break for Antonio that really kind of got him out of Oakland is how Oakland kind of basically handled his situation. So a lot of people are, blasting Twitter, blasting social media with everything about how Antonio was crying, and Oakland was just finally like, this is just a baby that's just can't be handled, so they're just sending it off to whatever. But I mean, I don't think Oakland handled it correctly when he was done with the helmets and they decided to go ahead and suspend him for his debacle or arguing basically with the GM, or maybe the GM was after that. But when you cut down a man's guaranteed, when you suspend him for the $30 million that you're taking off of his guaranteed money, that's actually a lot of your guaranteed money there.
Oh no, you're missing a little bit. I think because they said the money didn't get voided until they fined him. The fine is what solidified that because he was going to play, but then they still decided to fine him because they had to do some kind of discipline to let it know that your players can't just be doing this. So then when they gave him the fine, but it wasn't the suspension that did that because they were in letting play. So the suspension, they look weak now because they went back on the suspension already from the jump, and he was still going to get his 29. But what happened is when they fined him, the fine is what let them void the 29.
Well, they reworked his contract. They took away all the guaranteed money, and then they put him on a week-to-week pay basis. So that's where all that came into play.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what
Hmm.
ticked him off. That's when he was saying about when he started like he does, gets on social media. Then he was blasting about the system. Like the system is always playing us, and he's trying to talk from the players' point of view. From like it seems like he's trying to speak for all players, but when he's coming out and he's talking about the system is playing the players, and they're just taking us from our money, and it's not too much of a business, then like what? Where's the money coming from? Like he's not getting any now. You're if you sit there and you let the organization take advantage of you, which you can or you can't, with the system kind of taking advantage of players, I don't fully believe in. I know football is a business and it's become a business league, but ultimately, if you don't play the game right, which is what the agents are for, then yes, you do end up getting played. But when you start throwing out all those antics that you're having with all these fits and crying about helmets and freezing your foot in the cryotherapy, like, bro, why are you not wearing the correct shoes? What are you trying to do? Like, what's going on with that? But like that that was just a it was like almost a breaking point for Oakland. It was like we saw your drama with Pittsburgh,
Yep.
and it was just with Ben kind of in a personal sense blasting you because our chemistry was just off for a second, or maybe it was a bad throw or something. Okay, so maybe we can alleviate that by bringing him in and building a good relationship with Derek Carr. Maybe that will cause them to flourish. Maybe that will just really build in a lot more of a solidified offense with AB, the actual true front, without having someone like Juju behind his back, almost basically outshining him, which was another huge deal of last season of him leaving the Steelers. Was he was upset and he was kind of crying out already as it was, which has led to Juju getting the what was it the his all of his players voted him as MVP of the team, most liked, and that's going to eat at him because he's got a little bit of an ego, and his ego is what that weight he used to want to throw around in Oakland.
Yep.
So, and I liked what you said when you were talking about how Antonio off season was all right, but when preseason started kicking in and we started playing, and you're saying, wow, maybe this team really isn't as
Yep.
decent as it was.
Yeah. I literally I remember doing that. I was telling you because he started practicing. You start seeing how Derek Carr plays, and you start seeing the quality of player that you're playing with now versus what you were with before, and that goes for the whole offense pretty much, right? And then obviously they got rid of the tight end that probably would have helped out a lot. And you start noticing, well, crap, if I got to do with these guys, if he can't get a ball off, if he can't get it somewhat in the range for me to even make an adjustment to catch it, everything that I stood for, that I ride on, is going to be in jeopardy. And then if something happens and I try to leave this team too late, my stock value is down.
Yep, yeah, exactly. You got to get it while you're good. When your stats are blasting you at the top three as a receiver, then yeah, no, you got to get it while you can get it. So he got his guarantee money. It's gone. He sees that exactly what you're saying. Like maybe this team isn't what it really is. Then yeah, because maybe he thought he had a fighting chance with Oakland. Maybe he thought he could become in the X factor and push Oakland to be a great again, like it was in the 2016 season.
Yeah, came in thinking
But
he was going to be the game changer.
yeah, but nah, it definitely was not. So, yeah, I don't think I think that's kind of like ultimately where it led off to another reason of these. I think that's what led into the antics,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why like that it kind of like makes sense. It's a really opinionated reach, but it makes sense. I mean,
It goes towards more of the so. I mean, most analysts are going to go for that lot. Let's go with stats. Let's go with what's been happening, what's going on. And it's more like almost all the arguments that I've been hearing have based off his stats and like his ego and this and that. But I mean, psychologically, if you're thinking about what he's coming through, if you take away, I guess the money, everything that AB rides on outside of the money is his numbers, his skill. You know, wanting to be on a winning team. The Raiders are not a winning team.
I don't even
Let's
know if
be
he
real.
cares too much about that because I think it was last season when the Steelers were playing the Chiefs and the Chiefs still beat the Steelers and like pretty much the whole team was upset. The whole Steelers organization was upset. Like
I
we
remember
lost.
this,
Like
and he was
damn.
happy about his
But
stats, right?
yeah, he was still cheesing on the sideline like, bro, look, I got two touchdowns. I had hella like bro, your team lost. Like what do you
Mm-hmm.
cheat? There's I mean, I guess you can find you could argue finding positivity in the negative set or whatever, but dude, you need to rally with your team. Don't just sit there and gloat. Don't be happy with your stats. I mean, what is this? This is football. This is a team oriented sport.
Yep.
You got to bring it in with your team. And I liked what I saw from someone was saying at the end of this whole run from Steelers to Oakland to New England, his run and everything he's trying to basically build and stand for is a solo set. It's almost like he's making it about himself, whether he's doing it intentionally or not. But at the end of this road, when it comes down to it, you missed the biggest, I guess you could say, like, takeaway from being in the NFL is, and any team oriented sport, was building a family with the team. And I think he did that with Pittsburgh, because I mean we saw it in Hard Knocks. I mean his kids came out. Where's Ben? Where's Roethlisberger?
Yeah.
So they were family. It looked like they had some family friends going on. Like they obviously built close.
Oh, for sure. I think that's why Ben came out and said that he felt regretted saying the comments that he said.
Oh yeah. And when and with all these antics and the suspensions and everything was going on, I honestly believed that he was going to end up leaving Oakland anyway. I mean, that's what we all saw that kind of coming.
Oh, for sure.
Is he going to play? No, he's not going to play. He's going to get suspended. He's not dealing with Oakland. I thought, you know what? Maybe when Ben came out with his apology, depending on AB's ego or his pride, maybe he could come back to Pittsburgh. I honestly thought that. I kind of believed he might go back to Pittsburgh, because after he just saw what looked like a fire of an organization in Oakland.
Man, their back end can't get it done. They can't get it done on field.
No. Yeah. So yeah, maybe he was just like, oh, maybe I really did have it great in Pittsburgh. So maybe I could see him kind of coming back.
He was the golden child, man, outside of Ben. Like, you were the next golden child over there.
Yeah, getting drafted, spending all this time there. I mean, he got the taste of a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, didn't win it when they were in it in 2010 with Green Bay. But hey, I mean, he lived and ride with the Steelers. His work ethic built him up to become one of the best receivers. I personally believe the best receiver. But now what? Now you're bouncing around teams. Now you go to the Oakland, and it wasn't what you thought. But hey, aside all those antics, I mean, everyone's gonna call him a crybaby. I think he's honestly just a man on a mission. He's a man on a mission.
Well, what's funny is, like, he, as much as people can say he lost all that guaranteed money, I really don't think he didn't want that money. I don't think he did. Because he didn't want to be with them. He didn't want the money with the Raiders. That was the thing that kind of breaks it,
In his interview, before he even left the Steelers, or maybe it was after he left the Steelers, and he said, "I don't need football. I don't need football. I could be fine if I walk away from the game today." And that should have raised like a million flags across the board to like literally every team. And
everyone should have known at that point. Okay, he's fighting for a big contract, but it's not necessarily because, like, he was mad because they took away his guarantees. It's not necessarily the guarantees that he was mad. He's mad at the fact that they took away your guarantees, and I'm playing for a shit team. Like you essentially are taking away my stats and my money. Like, that's 2 losses. I need 1 win at least if I'm going to be stuck here. So, he only took the big contract with the Raiders so that he could set his market value, blow it up, and then go to a good team and get that market value in the span of 1 year and become a free agent after. And he just, it's almost like him and the Patriots were already talking. It's almost like they were already talking. You know what I mean? Like him and Brady been texting the whole time.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you remember Deflategate? We got you. Stuff don't leak over here. We got this. So,
well, I mean, Belichick coming in as definitely a front runner for the best head coach to ever be in the NFL. I mean, I believe that. I mean, we've seen what he's done before, even New England.
But you know what the funniest part is to me? The most interesting, funniest part to me is he literally, to everybody looking in, outside of football and obviously outside of AB himself and his agent and possibly the Patriots as well, we all thought he was pulling Weenie Hut Jr. moves. And he flipped this on us and pulled a Weenie Hut General move. Because now he's on the best team with a great 1-year contract, and he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. So if he wins, even if he wins this, like if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, I think it was a smart move for him because he's not stuck for too long either. That's another thing that he got out of, was being stuck with the team for too long.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's the two things. One, his contract, I don't believe is great. I think it's great for the fact that it's a year and it's 15 guaranteed.
For what everybody expected, that's a great contract because we was all expecting him to get,
nothing.
Essentially, we were expecting him to be exiled like Dez, except worse because, it wasn't as much drama.
Antics.
Like, jeez. So I think he got a good contract, and he also didn't get tied down to a team.
Yeah.
Like
let's go ahead and I want to transition this and talk about New England. Like, how is he going to play in with New England? We talked a little bit about how maybe this was rigged from the beginning. Maybe this has all been played out. Maybe this was AB's plan all along, because the Steelers were not going to trade him to an AFC team. They were like, that's why they said no to the Bills, even though the Bills were up front running, ready to pay that man.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, and that's the thing. Steelers did not want to trade them to an AFC team, and definitely not the Patriots. But maybe that's where AB wanted to go all along. James Harrison.
I don't even think Patriots fans wanted him in Patriot. I said Patriot. Wanted him in New England.
Yeah, well, in a Patriot uniform. But I mean, at the same time, how could you be mad about that? You've got the best
you can't.
team now.
You have the best slot receiver, the best jump ball receiver, and now the best all around receiver.
Yes, yeah. So, we'll see how long Josh Gordon lasts this time.
We'll see.
There's
not
we can
long.
talk about that forever, but
not long.
I mean, what is he coming up? I don't know, man. I hear things. Man. Maybe he pulled out last year again just to chill out, and then come back this year to make a two-peat. What is it? Maybe there was a whole plan behind. Oh, it was for contracts. Maybe he was pulling out this year to save money so he can get the contract going this year, saves New England a little bit of money, bring in some players, so that way now everybody has more threats. Defense gets a little more stacked. So, but anyway, that's getting off topic. So, back to this. Is AB a ring chaser? Did Antonio really actually want to be here all along after his Steelers debacle?
Oh, man, if you really think about it, when you add in that whole I don't need football anymore, well, if I'm going to play with a team and if I'm going to keep fighting for football, I might as well at least get a ring. I might as well get a ring.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about for an organization. Organizations build teams to win Super Bowls.
Man.
Can he win the ring with New England? I personally think that with him on New England now, New England's going to go 15-1. The one loss is going to be Week 1 against the Steelers, and I think that because a lot of people want to say.
So when AB can't play,
I do not believe Antonio being there to tell them kind of like the schemes of Pittsburgh or whatever is going to help give him that defense advantage, because James Harrison went over there, and last season what happened? The Steelers still beat New England. So there really wasn't too much of it like that. There's already that level of expectation of how they're going to switch it up. New England's got Josh Gordon back to play, but how well is he going to mesh this time? He did great last season before he claimed another mental illness and avoided a suspension, or maybe even permanent suspension from the league. But I don't think it's going to change anything. I think this is going to come out and pull it out on them. But then once Brady and Brown start getting that chemistry going, and they're working it in with Gordon and Edelman, because I think Gordon's honestly going to stay this full season. If he pulls out yet again, then his career's done.
Yeah. Well, because AB can't play the first game.
Right. Yeah. No.
Since he's not eligible till Monday, that makes sense. And I think, to be fair, I think AB at most, if he's giving them info, he does. After that one hit he took, the one I'm going to call the bobblehead hit. After he took that hit, I don't know how well he's gonna be able to give as much info as you would want from a player when you're playing against their former team. But I think the most that they get out of him is tips on how maybe Juju runs his routes and just different ways they keys. I think he helps certain players out, maybe advice wise, but I don't think same thing you said. I don't think he'll be able to do anything to drastically change the game plan.
The outcome. All he can do is give his insight, and his insight can only do so much. Because I mean, Tomlin's kind of already shown he can switch it up and still beat you. I mean, they've got other things that they can throw at the Patriots that
Yeah.
AB don't know about. AB hasn't been there all offseason or in the preseason.
Oh yeah, you're still it's still at the end of the day the potentially the GOAT and a coach with the GOAT and a quarterback with another Hall of Fame quarterback and a arguably a Hall of Fame coach. I would say Hall of Fame coach, but I've heard the argument of not having enough back end wins, as I guess we could technically say.
Yeah. No, he's definitely got it. If Belichick does not go down as a Hall of Famer,
Not Belichick.
Tomlin. Coach.
Tomlin.
Oh,
yeah. The GOAT and Belichick and Brady, and the GOATs, I guess. And then I'm saying a Hall of Famer and Ben, and then potentially a Hall of Famer in Tomlin, just because I've heard that argument of not having enough back end wins.
Nah,
or success at the end of the season, at the end of the playoffs type thing.
Well, I mean, I think he's got enough of it. He's got the Hall of Fame. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. As being a great coach, yes, he does have a lot of the statistics to argue towards that. I mean, Hall of Fame, yeah, the Hall of Fame has to bring in the Super Bowls. That's what brings those in.
Yeah.
For those votes, you can't really.
And considering his essentially his Super Bowl was like an inherited team, but it's still a win. So hopefully, things go his way and he is able to work that out.
Yeah. Well. So I guess that's the expectations now. I mean, do you think he's gonna last? Do you think AB will actually stay with the Patriots this full season?
I think. Well, they're no strangers to just basically literally just dropping you or suspending you like that. So if he gets any antics, I think no, but I don't know. It just depends because Brady has a way with talking to players. I think Edelman could give in a little bit of a way in to talk to players and give his insight and essentially put him in his place. And then obviously Belichick puts you in your place. So I don't think there's any room for his antics at all. Like there's no leeway. There's just no leeway there. And they seem to have a way when it comes to the clowns of the NFL, I guess is what I'll call them.
The clowns of the NFL. I mean, that's good. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, hey, there's something about New England. It's Belichick, it's Brady. What about New England that makes receivers, running backs, just players in general better than they are on any other team? Maybe it's their schemes. I don't know. AB is going to flourish. AB is going to flourish in New England. You've got the best quarterback in the league right now and the best head coach that you could possibly have. There's no way that I could see Antonio actually creating antics or doing anything to get out of New England. If anything, he's going to do everything to stay there. He might try to recreate his legacy while in New England because he's technically tarnished it with Patriots. I mean, Pittsburgh.
With Raiders in Pittsburgh.
If Raiders is going to be like nothing. I feel give it 2 or 3 years, everyone's just going to look back at it and think how much of a joke and how much he played. That's what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, how he made them look like chumps.
Yeah, he basically literally just played them.
He made all the rich men in our town look like chumps. That's how they're going to look at it. He Weenie Hut Jr. and all you Raiders fans. Oh, my gosh.
Freaking Oakland. Come on, guys.
Just sell your team. Just sell it.
I feel like ultimately, I don't think they just couldn't handle him. If he didn't want to be there, he just wasn't going to be there. Man. And then once AB made up his mind he didn't want to be there, it was just over after that. I just don't think Oakland could have done anything. So taking away their money, his money basically was probably the only way to be able to release him. So that's why it set him up. And he he basically said, screw the system, release me. I'm done.
Man, so if they had moved to Vegas sooner, they might have had a fighting chance. Living down the street from Floyd might have been a good, pitch for AB. He's real flashy, and Floyd's flashy, so they probably could have been good friends.
Nah, I don't think it would have played out like that. It doesn't matter where Oakland is. It's just their team. It's just their team and their organization. Location is nothing to it. Even with Drake being in Toronto, Drake does not have that much of a leeway on the players. It's just nice for him to be there.
Yeah.
That's so I don't see I can't see it working with Oakland. Like there's just no way it could have. I was always skeptical about it to begin with. I'm not trying to talk out of hindsight, but I mean, what was it? Derek Carr has already shown that his season was probably a fluke. We haven't seen anything out of. Okay, you can give him the injuries. Yeah, he was back down on everything, but ultimately though, that team never actually flourished after all of that.
Even during his like hype season, if you want to call it that, to me it just didn't seem like it was it did not look impressive to me when I watched him play.
If
It's
anything,
like
it was just showing potential.
I
Unless
was
that
like,
was
okay, y'all might be good later on. I feel like people overhyped him.
yeah. I mean, he did get injured that season. That's what started.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but
That team wasn't going nowhere though. Be
yeah,
realistic. Raiders fans, be realistic. You know, the minute he picked up the ball, there was a brick wall.
yeah. Y'all can continue talking big. Talk big. We like it. We like it. Oh, keep talking big. Hey, you ain't a real fan if you ain't talking big about your team.
Y'all are stuck with Gruden for 10 years. Remember that.
And it's okay to hate certain people on the team. Never hate the team. Never
Gruden
talk
gives
about
away all your big people. Y'all have lost 3 superstars.
Nah, Gruden's just trying to build his own team. Gruden's building his own franchise right now. He's like this. He's acting. He's like acting GM right now, as because he's partially owns the team. He's going in on it right now. He's like, I'm gonna, my schemes offensively and defensively. This is who I need. This is what I want. That's why he was okay with letting Cooper go. Cooper was just not performing very well with the team, and it wasn't on Cooper. Cooper was not doing anything wrong. Cooper was being Cooper, and we could see that the way he's performing in Dallas.
It was like a pile of trash with gold in it, and he was coming to clean up the trash, but decided to throw away the gold first.
And now they're having to incorporate a new tight end because they want to get rid of Jared Cook, who I say was pretty solid for him last season. I mean, they could learn to build with him. He came out. He was their only fighting chance against the Rams in their season opener last season. I mean, come on. Hey, I'll give it to him. He's in New Orleans now. I think he's gonna flourish there. That's a good move for Jared. Still don't understand what Oakland's trying to do there.
The Saints gonna be nasty. New Orleans gonna be nasty.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a team to come up. But yeah, so I think that wraps us up on AB. I think we're caught up on him.
We're caught up on the drama for now.
I'm my personal opinion. Yes, this was definitely a play. As soon as he said these antics were happening, I think Belichick's ears were perking, and that was it. After that, once he said release me, Belichick wrote up the contract right there. He was right in that office. He was like, we got to get this contract ready for him. As soon as he released, I mean, look at that. As soon as the available window opened up for them to sign him.
Bro, within 24 hours, like everyone on Twitter was going crazy, assuming he was about to be done or blackballed or like I said. I said this when I was at the store. I said the only two teams that I personally saw getting him was New England or Seattle. Those are the only 2 teams that I think had a coach that could handle him and had a potential like quarterback that could handle him, and would not be afraid to shut him down. Outside of that,
I don't think Seattle was. I don't think Pete Carroll can hold down players like that. I mean, look what Marshawn. Marshawn was a very strong personality.
But Marshawn is Marshawn. That's a whole different breed. Marshawn is something else. That boy came straight out of Predator. He came straight out of Predator and just no. I don't even think Belichick and Brady would have checked him. Like he just does not care. I think AB still somewhat cares. Marshawn just won't make a fool. Marshawn likes to have fun and like be an entertainer, I think, but he won't make a fool of himself.
But still, AB still has a very strong personality. He's shown it, and he doesn't care anymore. He just throws weight around, and he's making a statement that he's becoming. I'm not saying like Marshawn is Marshawn.
Oh no, he's worse. I think he's worse than Marshawn in a different way, though.
Right? Yeah. Yes. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. It's worse. Yes, it's worse than Marshawn because Marshawn at least still. How can you say this? He had rapport. He still had respect. It's not like people were completely just with social media bashing Marshawn for being like a POS or anything out like that. I mean, Marshawn, he still got picked up when he came back. When he wanted to come back, Oakland was like, hell yeah. And look, he meshed well with Oakland. I don't think he really cared.
Yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
kind of
All
had
right.
on
Well,
the AB stuff. You
yep.
got anything else on it?
No, we're just gonna have to wait and see how he plays out in New England now. We'll keep you guys tuned in on any
Sounds
upcoming news that breaks social media, breaks the
sounds
news.
good. You can guarantee if there's more news, we'll definitely put up another quick chat, little talk podcast about it for you guys. But first off, if you sat through it all, thank you for standing in and rocking with us for the first episode of Score to Score. There's definitely gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be pretty much surrounded by sports, obviously sports drama, and every now and then if there's an extremely high intense game or highly publicized game or some more antics, we'll be on it over here. But we're gonna go ahead and end it. And if you do want to follow us on some more, because we both also have other stuff going on that's interesting, that's sports related and outside sports related, things like that. You can go follow Mattyice on Twitter at MattHardwick8, and you can go. I think you got a YouTube channel coming up too, right? Working on it.
Sir,
You're working on it.
working on it.
It's in the works. It'll be there soon. And then I'm your man Jaynote, of course. You can go to my YouTube JaynoteX or go to my Twitter at JaynoteLol. That's LUL. And I'm pretty much just games, sports, and YouTube, but mostly video games. I'm a weeb. Video games and anime. It's just the
There
thing.
you go.
The weeb team. Which we're gonna head out. So hope you guys had a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed rocking with us for this first episode. Come back for the second one. We don't know what it'll be yet, but it'll definitely be entertaining. And we're out. Bye bye.